Atlantis is hands down my favorite 2D animated movie from Disney. It's fantastic, it's wonderful, it has a great sense of adventure. It sounds corny, but you just don't get these movies like you used to anymore.
I'm lost.
Welcome back to VHS Tacos, everybody. Of course, Strange World is out. I had a chance to see it. Mrs. Taco opted out of this one, and I saw it in 3D. It was the best Showtime available. I don't mind 3D so much myself. Shout out to the snoring guy, 4 seats to my right. Strange World is a fantastic movie from folks over at Disney Animation. And it's a beautiful, vibrant, in-your-face kind of movie, but the colors are so warm and inviting. They bring you in. They want to draw you into this world that they've created, and it's a fantastic looking world. On the surface level, you get things that are inspired by like steampunk and a mix of old and new that come together with a little bit of hint of future tech in there, and it's a great amalgamation of everything. And then the characters themselves, the ones that are populating this future old tech world, they're lovable, they're great. This might be, with the exception of Encanto, one of the best Disney families that we've gotten in recent animation. Jake Gyllenhaal does a fantastic job as the dad who lost his dad, who's just trying to be the best dad that he can. He's trying to be the best husband that he can. And you know what? You know what I appreciate? This is a huge step forward for Disney movies, for animation movies. He is accepting of his son and the fact that his son is gay. He doesn't make a big deal out of it because guess what? It's part of everyday life and it's fine. He just wants his son to be happy. And of course, you know, he goes to embarrass him, but that's what he's for. His wife, it's an interracial relationship, but the movie doesn't harp on it. The movie doesn't make a big deal about it. The movie doesn't have anybody that's there.
It's just normal.
It's just normal. It's just a part of everyday life. I mean, this is such a loving, sweet family. I mean, hell, they even went so far as to make the dog a 3-legged dog. But they don't have anything here, you know, they don't have any of their differences be a crutch. They don't have any of their differences be something to be held against them. Even when the old-fashioned macho man dad, the one that went missing, shows up and he finds out that his grandson has a crush on this boy, he doesn't care. He's excited. He's there. He wants to help his grandson woo him. Yeah, I mean, it really is a heartfelt, beautiful moment between two people that have never known each other, only through stories for the younger one. This movie is an adventure movie at the heart and core of it, though. You know, we start off on the surface world, but then things start to take a turn, you know, because at the beginning we're introduced to this life source, essentially, this battery source, this energy source that Jake Gyllenhaal's character finds, and then, you know, as he gets older, he farms it, and it's used as the power source for the steampunk kind of society that they've built. Well, it's starting to go bad. The batteries are starting to die out a lot sooner than they have. The crops are starting to die. So in the efforts to go in and find the source of it, they happen to stumble upon Daddy Dearest, who went missing ages and ages ago.
Who's that played by?
Which one?
Daddy Dearest.
Daddy Dearest is played by Dennis Quaid, and he plays it wonderfully with that rough and tumble gravel in his voice, but he has a great time, and he's wonderful in the role. You believe every word that comes out of his mouth. Everything on the surface world looks beautiful, and everything on the surface world looks great, but once we get into the core of the movie, and essentially the core of this planet, that's when things take a turn. You know, it's difficult to make a world look different, you know, especially when you're promising something with the title Strange World, but they do a beautiful job here, and the creatures that we see on display, it's fascinating. Everything looks so different, but there's something in the back of your mind that forces you almost to study and stare at each individual creature and plant and fauna, because there's just something that's a little familiar about it, but you're not quite sure what it is, but it all makes sense when it finally gets to the conclusion. Now, of course, throughout the entirety of the movie, you are filled with so many wonderful action sequences that are smart and they're clever. You have, like, this river of acid that these little acid flying swimming dudes are helping protect the ship with, and they're flipping the ship to avoid acid splashes. I mean, it's a trip, and in 3D it makes it even better. And you have this little cute, adorable creature that Disney movies are known for, the cute little animal sidekick, which is evil at first. It's a bad man, but once again, what goes with the theme of the movie, and we'll get to this in a minute, it ends up warming up to our heroes and becomes a hero itself. And it ends up being a fantastic... The hero's name is Splat, by the way, which is adorable, especially when we first get introduced to it. As the movie goes on and, you know, we have our reunion and everything like that. And of course, this is a Disney movie, so Dad, old and Dad new, they're having their differences. You weren't there, you left, so on and so on. And of course, they resolve their differences. What's interesting is the resolution to that. As they're fighting, and, you know, because Dad Senior, his whole thing is he needs to get to the other side of the mountains. That was always his master adventure, the one that he wanted to conquer the most. So, when we finally get to the other side of the mountains, it's just water. There's nothing there. There's nothing incredible. There's nothing to explore. It's just water. But then they turn around because they hear some movement, and we see the rock start to move, and what opens is a giant eye. This is in 3D, mind you. The camera starts to zoom out as the eye opens up, and you see a tiny little blip, which is the ship, and it is Dad Senior and Dad Junior, and they're standing there, and they're just staring at this eye, and the 3D makes the ship pop out. And I mean, I was left with my jaw on the floor because it's one of the best uses of 3D and scale possible. But then they realize this is the resolution moment. Why are we fighting? You know, we've lost all this time, these past 25 years. But here we are, literally faced with something much larger than ourselves. Our problems seem minuscule, especially now that we're back together. Why bother bickering? Especially since it's alive, that's what they're living on. They have to help keep it alive. It's the beating heart and soul. I mean, the movie has...
It's corny. So what actors are actually in this, other than Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal?
You know, I've been talking so fast, I have almost forgotten the rest of the cast. So, yes, you have Jake Gyllenhaal, you have Dennis Quaid. The mom is played wonderfully by Gabrielle Union. And then we do have the captain of the ship who was there kind of when, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal Jr. was part of the expedition where his father was lost, played by Lucy Liu. I will admit, there's a couple line deliveries there where she's a little on the wooden side, but not too terrible. And I can't remember the son's name off the top of my head, and I dare not butcher it, but he does a great job. You know, he sells the son role well, just wanting to go out there and explore. It really is a great cast. They feel like a family from the very first moment that you see it, from the very last moment that we see them on screen together. Strange World, in theaters now. It is out there in regular, it's out there in 3D, it's out there in Dolby. One of the only times you'll ever...
No IMAX?
No IMAX. This is one of the only
Rightfully
times...
so.
This is one of the only times you'll hear me recommend something in 3D. This is a fantastic use of the 3D medium. I'm not a fan of it myself, but it is absolutely worth it.
Gives me a headache.
If you guys had a chance to check out Strange World, if you intend on checking out, of course, let me know down in the comments below. If you love my shirt as much as I do, let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys think that Atlantis is the best 2D animated Disney movie of all time, that's because it is. And if you have any other opinions otherwise, you are incorrect.
Well, I must be incorrect.
You are incorrect.
Oh well.
And until next time, guys, this has been VHS Tacos signing off. We are getting to the very end of the year, and that means that we have one movie review left into our grand culmination video at the end of the year.
I can't believe it.
And when I tell you that I am through the roof excited for the next movie and the final movie of the year, because you better watch out. Until next time, adios.